Alright guys, and welcome back to the Saints Video channel for some new content for our match preview ahead of a big game against high-flying Everton, the table-topping Toffees. Arguably the toughest game of the season so far, but a great opportunity to test ourselves against the league's best team at the moment. Before we get into it, do make sure you've hit that subscribe button with the notifications turned on. We are looking to get to 3,000 subscribers as soon as possible. Follow us on our socials as well if you haven't yet already. And of course, if you haven't, download Pitchball. They're once again kindly sponsoring this video. It is the app you want for all your schools, news and everything else relating to football. You know the score by now. If you haven't downloaded it, why? The link's in the description for you to go and do so. Right, let's get into it. As always, let's talk about Saints first. A great result on the weekend against Chelsea. Thoroughly deserved point. I said in my preview I felt like we could definitely go there and take away something, and we did. Not the 1-1 I thought. Defensively we weren't great, but you know, to go there and score 3 goals is a big statement. But yeah, when you score 3 goals even against Chelsea in one game and you don't win the game, you know, question marks have to be raised at the defence, and we'll talk about that a little bit later on. But yeah, to a man, I thought everyone in the second half was excellent. Dodgy first half, but you know, the goal before half time from Ings changed the flow of the game really and gave us the lifeline that we needed to get back into it. You know, it's always good to see Danny Ings add goals to his tally, but for me, I thought the fact that Adam scored was a big boost. I was really pleased for him because he's been subject to a bit of debate from Saints fans over the past couple of weeks whether he's actually the man that we need in front of goal next to Ings. I think he is. You know, maybe he hasn't scored as many as he should have with the chances he's had so far this season, but his work rate's excellent. He fits the pressing system, and he's a smart footballer as well. That ball through to Ings was perfectly weighted, and he did well to win it back as well in the Chelsea game. So yeah, I've got no doubts that he's the man, and now that he's off the mark, hopefully we can see a few more goals in the next couple of weeks from Che Adams. And talk about strong performances, again, great performance from Yannick Vestergaard. Thoroughly deserved his goal at the end after 3 really good performances in the league. I can't believe I'm saying it, but he is Southampton's best defender right now. And it does look like Mohamed Salisu is going to be fit for this one finally. Does he come into it? I mean, if you're going to drop anyone, I think it's going to be Bednarek out of the 2, which is crazy to say. You know, I wouldn't have thought that at the beginning of the season, but here we are. And yeah, Jan did have a poor game against Chelsea, but I think before that against West Brom and Burnley looked relatively solid. So would it be harsh to drop him? Yeah, I think it would be. But you know, we brought Salisu in to be one of our first choice defenders, and I think as soon as he's ready, I'll be throwing him in there. Okay, yeah, playing Everton, who are in such good form at the moment, is throwing him in the deep end a little bit for his first Premier League game with Saints. Maybe it might be smart to give him an extra week, perhaps. But personally, I'd be throwing him in there. You know, obviously he's going to have to handle the league's best striker at the moment, the most informed striker in the league at the moment. But I don't see why we wouldn't. These are the games that we need our best defenders for. We've brought Salisu in to be one of our best defenders. Yes, okay, he hasn't played with us yet, but he's been training for ages. I think he knows the score by now. And yeah, reportedly he is ready. Whether he'll be on the bench or starting, we don't know. But it'll be really interesting to see what Ralph decides to do. We may also see a debut, or a full debut that is, for Ibrahim Diallo. He did come on against Chelsea for about 5 minutes, sprayed a few good passes around, won the ball. You're not going to get much insight on a player and how well he performs in 5 minutes in a game that you're chasing. But with the Chelsea result, it's a marker in my opinion. I think now that we've picked up 7 points from the last 3 games after a pretty poor first couple of games ago, you know, obviously Palace was disappointing, getting knocked out of the cup, being woeful against Spurs defensively with that high line. Now we've kind of turned that around after a dodgy little start, and we look like the side that was one of the best teams in the Premier League post-lockdown, arguably one of the best teams in the league in the entirety of 2020, you know. I can only think of 1 or 2 months of bad form, you know, just before we went into lockdown we weren't great, but pretty much January, June, July, now September a little bit, October, we've been class. And I think we can keep that going, and I think this is a really good opportunity to test ourselves again. You know, Everton are at the moment playing better than Chelsea. I think Chelsea was another step up, if that makes sense. You know, it's proven that we can get points against top 6 sides, but now Everton, not necessarily saying they're a top 6 side yet, but the way they've been playing so far, they are the league's best team at the moment, and if we can get a result against them, you know, that'd be a massive statement. We are going to miss Theo Walcott in this one. Hopefully Stuart Armstrong's back. Of course, Walcott is on loan from Everton, so he is ineligible for this, but hopefully Armstrong is back. We are filming this before Ruff's press conference, but with Armstrong, he was in self-isolation. I think he was back in training just before Chelsea anyway, so I think he will be fit for this one. But let's talk about Everton, the opponent, for Sunday's game. Just, wow, they've been sensational, which is something I didn't really expect. I thought they were going to be a lot better, you know, especially if you look at their form during the lockdown period. They were short of ideas. They were just so lacklustre, so dull. But in the short time that they've had in the transfer window in the summer and pre-season, Ancelotti, he's changed it around massively, you know, bringing in some big signings. And, you know, they're lucky that those signings have settled in like that. James, obviously, probably the main one out of sort of Alan Decore. Ben Godfrey's come in as well, a couple others. But you look at James Rodriguez and you think that is just a sensational signing. And luckily for Saints, he won't be playing. He is injured for this one. And Richarlison as well, he's suspended. Seamus Coleman is injured as well. So missing 3 big players. Everton are going into the game, 2 big attackers. But of course, regardless of James and Richarlison, the main attacking threat is Dominic Calvert-Lewin, who I'm very sure will be starting on Sunday. The league's top scorer, the most informed player at the moment, in my opinion. I just think he's been absolutely sensational. Everything he touches at the moment turns to gold, and Saints are going to have to be so wary of him because, like I said, he can't stop scoring. But I do back us to give Everton a good test. I think, like I said, we're in good form now. Obviously, they're the league's best side at the moment, but I really think we can upset the apple cart a little bit. You know, the game's on Sky. I think if we were to end Everton's unbeaten start on Sky, people would start raising their eyebrows a bit more at Saints, thinking, oh, actually, you know, this team can go and do something this season. Everton did drop points for the first time this season on the weekend against Liverpool in the Merseyside derby. Could argue they were actually lucky to come away with the point with Henderson's goal ruled out late on. I thought that was a shambolic decision, but obviously that's irrelevant to the game on Sunday. So I think there's definitely an opportunity there for us to come away with something. I'm not saying we're going to go and win the game. I'm not expecting us to, but I do think we can definitely give them a good game, and I think we can come away with something. That leads me nicely onto my prediction, and obviously it's going to be a very tough game, the hardest game we've faced so far on paper, but I can see an opportunity there for us not to win the game. I think it's going to be a really big ask to get 3 points, even though they're missing 3 big players. But I can definitely see us getting a point. I think we're in form. We're playing well. I don't see why we can't give them a good game and come away with something. So I'm going to predict. I think I'm going to predict a 2-2 draw. I think it's going to be a really good game. 2 sides that have been scoring goals recently, and yeah, I think we can come away with something. I'm relatively confident regarding that. Not that we'll win it. I don't think we'll be winning this one, but definitely come away with a point, and then that builds us with some nice form going into the next couple of games. That is it for the video. Thank you so much for watching, guys. Let me know down below in the comment section how you're feeling ahead of the game. If you have enjoyed it, give it a like and subscribe if you haven't yet already with your notifications turned on. Follow us on our socials, and we'll see you tomorrow for the predicted lineup. Take it easy, guys.